Welcome to AI in 8 minutes or less, your daily AI update. Personal AI assistants, they've been the stuff of science fiction for ages. But for a few pioneers, they're already a reality. Today, we're going to dive into how these early AI agents are starting to change, well, everything, from the apps on our phones to the very way we work.
And let's just start with this quote because it gets right to the heart of it. This is from Peter Yang, a product manager over at Roblox. It just perfectly captures that this isn't only a story about tech. It's about a new kind of personal relationship we're starting to build with AI. I mean, one that might even give us a pep talk when we need one.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with one person's experience with their own personal AI. Then we'll zoom way out to see what this could mean for our apps, how we create things, and yeah, even the future of work itself. Okay, let's start with Peter Yang and his personal AI agent, who he named Zoe. Now, he didn't just download her from an app store, he actually built her using a framework called OpenClaw, creating this unique assistant that's woven into his life in a way most of us just haven't experienced yet. So, what in the world is OpenClaw? Well, think of it less like a finished, polished app and more like a DIY kit for a truly personal AI. It gives you the building blocks to create an agent that can tap into your data, learn new things, and talk to you on a platform like Telegram. It just feels less like a tool and more like, part of your daily conversation.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the contrast here between what's possible and what's real right now. I mean, on one hand, Zoe can do some seriously powerful stuff, pulling his bank data, updating documents, even building little web apps. But on the other hand, Yang calls the whole experience super janky. It forgets its own skills, it needs constant reminders. It just goes to show we are in the very early, super experimental days of all this. And this, right here, illustrates the core insight he discovered. When he was asked, how much of the value is the tech versus the personality, he estimated that 70 to 80% of it is just the personable part. Just having an agent on Telegram that he can text from bed or talk to on his commute. It just feels more like talking to a person than opening up ChatGPT. The interface, that feeling, is everything.
So, this personal experiment immediately brings up a much, much bigger question. If one guy with a janky setup can start changing his digital habits this much, what happens when this technology gets easy to use, polished, and is available to billions of people? And that leads to a pretty provocative idea. Yang's theory is that since he started using Zoe to check his bank balance or update a doc, he's basically stopped opening the actual apps for those things. He's just outsourcing all that click work to his agent.
So here's the crucial point. Not all apps are created equal in this new world. The ones that are most at risk, they're the pure utility apps. The ones you open with a specific goal, you do the thing, and you close it. Entertainment apps like TikTok are probably safe for now, but for simple tasks, it's just so much easier to text your agent, "Hey, what's my bank balance?" than to find and open the banking app yourself.
But look, it's not just about how we use software. This whole shift is also transforming how we create it in the first place. For developers, and frankly even for non-developers, AI is becoming this powerful, creative partner. Yang talks about using two different AI coding assistants, and they have completely different philosophies. He uses one called Claude Code when he's just kind of vibing. It's chatty, it's fast, but it's also unpredictable, kind of like a slot machine. But when he needs to build something real, he turns to another one called Codex. It's way more accurate, but it's slow and can break his creative flow. And this experience leads him to a pretty huge prediction. Just like software ate the world, he thinks coding is going to eat all knowledge work. Now, he doesn't mean we're all going to become traditional engineers. He means that talking to a computer conversationally to get it to do complex stuff, writing a blog post, analyzing data, that will become the new way we all work. The code itself basically vanishes. So if individuals have their own agents and creating stuff becomes just a conversation, what does that do to the way we organize ourselves into companies? I mean, the implications are just massive. Yang points to a pain point that, let's be honest, anyone who's worked in a big company will recognize. The endless meetings, the bureaucracy, those soul-crushing planning sessions. He sees all this corporate friction as the exact problem that teams of AI agents are perfectly designed to solve. So this leads to a vision for a radically new kind of company. Instead of a 10-person product team, what if you had a 2 or 3-person team, but they're backed up by a whole fleet of AI agents? These agents can handle all the alignment and negotiation between departments, without emotion, letting these tiny human teams have a massive impact, and cutting down all that bureaucracy that slows big companies down. And naturally, if the company structure changes that much, the nature of our day-to-day work is going to change right along with it. Our roles are going to shift from being the people who do the tasks to being the people who are the creative directors and strategists for our AI partners. The new workflow for pretty much any knowledge work might look a lot like this. The AI does the first 80% of any task. It writes the first draft of the report, it builds the first version of the app, it pulls all the data, and then the human comes in to provide that crucial final 20%. The taste, the strategic insight, the creative spark that machines just can't replicate. But does this huge efficiency boost mean mass unemployment? Well, the optimistic view is no. The theory is that human ambition really has no ceiling. When we're freed from that 80% of grunt work, we don't just stop. We redirect that energy to solving bigger, more complex, and way more interesting problems that we just didn't have the time or energy to tackle before. And all of this brings us to a final thought. Someone recently tweeted that the job market is so bad, they can only pursue my dreams now. And yeah, it was a joke, but it holds a deeper question for our future with AI. As AI takes on more and more of the busy work, are we on the edge of a time when more of us are finally free to create, to build, and to do the work we were really meant to do? What will we choose to build when we finally have the time? If you enjoyed this, subscribe to AI in 8 minutes and never miss what matters.